All right, so we're diving into nerve pain today.
Yeah.
That burning, tingling, sometimes even nerveness,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't quit.
Right.
Honestly, I think we're all ready for something that actually works long term.
Absolutely.
You've done your research. You brought us a whole stack of research on nerve armor.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to know, does this stuff actually live up to the hype?
It's a good question.
It's a really tricky area. There are a lot of promises out there.
Yeah. A lot of noise in this space.
That's why we have our expert here today to help make sense of it all.
Well, let's see if we can. So what's interesting is nerve armor approaches this problem from a really unique angle.
Okay.
They talk about these things called termite cells.
Termite cells.
Have you heard of those?
That sounds unpleasant.
Right.
Like something you need to fumigate your nervous system for.
Yeah, it's a pretty vivid way to describe what's going on. So they're essentially referring to microglia,
Okay.
which are these cells in your central nervous system that normally act like little guardians.
Okay.
They protect your brain and spinal cord.
Right.
The problem is, as we age these microglia, they can get a bit overzealous.
Oh.
It's almost like they go rogue.
Okay.
Instead of protecting your nerves, they start attacking the myelin sheath.
So the myelin sheath, that's
the protective coating
right
around your nerve fibers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So instead of guarding the house, they start chewing on the wiring.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
Oh.
And nerve armor suggests that this could be a major contributor to nerve pain, and it's often overlooked.
Interesting.
They even lay out 4 warning signs that these termite cells might be at work.
Okay, give them to me.
It's unpredictable, sharp pains, constant burning or numbness, electric shock sensations, and then those weird hot and cold feelings that just seem to come out of nowhere.
Yep.
Any of those sound familiar?
Well, I'm not a doctor, but I have to admit a couple of those sound familiar.
Okay.
And the idea that these cells are multiplying as we get older?
Yeah.
That's a little concerning.
It's definitely something to be aware of.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Nerve armor claims that one of the key ways to combat these termite cells is with...
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Raw egg yolks.
Hold on. Egg yolks. As in crack open an egg and really...
Yes, what they're saying.
I mean, I'm all for a good omelet, but I'm not sure I'm ready to start downing raw eggs in the name of nerve health.
I know it sounds a bit out there, right?
It does.
But there's actually some science to back it up.
Okay.
Raw egg yolks contain a nutrient called palmitoylethanolamide, or PEA for short, P.
Got it.
And research suggests that P can actually reduce the activity of those overactive microglia, the termite cells we've been talking about.
So there's actual research on this.
There is.
It's not just an old wives' tale.
It's not just an old wives' tale. Nerve Armor cites studies from Oxford University.
Wow.
And the journal Scientific Reports.
Okay.
Showing that PE can significantly reduce the activity of these overactive microglia.
Interesting.
And it gets even more intriguing.
Okay.
P doesn't just stop the damage.
Right.
It also helps repair the myelin sheath.
Okay.
By boosting the activity of Schwann cells, which are kind of like the stem cells of your nerves.
So it's a two-pronged approach.
Yeah.
Halt the damage and then help rebuild what's been lost.
Exactly.
Imagine not just less pain, but actual nerve regeneration.
That's the idea.
That's pretty amazing.
It's promising.
If you're finding this information as fascinating as I am, and are curious to learn more about nerve armor, you can find a link to their official website in the description below.
Absolutely. So it's certainly promising, and it's great that they're looking at this from a regenerative standpoint. But let's be clear, we always want to look at the evidence carefully.
Of course.
Research on PE is still ongoing.
Right.
And more studies are needed to confirm these initial findings.
Okay, so more to come on that.
Yeah.
But that being said, the potential is there?
Definitely.
Okay, so that's the egg yolk connection.
Right.
But nerve armor isn't just bottled raw eggs, right?
No. It's a blend of several ingredients that they claim work together for a greater effect.
All right.
Besides P, they include gotu-kola, corydalis, benfotiamine, and alpha-lipoic acid.
Woo, that's a mouthful.
It is.
Break that down for us.
Okay.
What do these other ingredients bring to the table?
Well, gotu-kola is an herb.
Okay.
That has a long history of use in traditional medicine.
Okay.
Some studies indicate that it can help reduce inflammation. And there's even some evidence to suggest it may contribute to myelin sheath repair.
So helping to rebuild that protective coating we were talking about.
Exactly.
Okay.
One study even showed a 460% reduction
160%.
in those termite cells after using gotu-kola.
Now that's what I call fighting back.
Right.
Okay, what about this corydalis?
Corydalis is interesting because it's considered a natural painkiller.
Okay.
It works by blocking pain signals in the brain.
Interesting.
What's really interesting is that unlike some prescription painkillers, it's not associated with the same risks of tolerance or dependence.
So it tackles the pain directly.
Yeah.
But without the potential downsides of some medications?
That's the idea.
Okay, what about the last two, benfotiamine and alpha-lipoic acid? Those sound pretty intense.
They are both powerful antioxidants.
Okay.
Benfotiamine is a form of vitamin B1 that's particularly good at protecting nerves from damage. And alpha-lipoic acid, specifically the form they use, which is called granular ALA.
Granular ALA.
Because of its superior absorption.
Got it.
Has been shown to be effective at reducing nerve pain and promoting repair.
So it's like a multi-pronged attack on nerve pain.
Right.
And support for rebuilding.
Yeah.
If I'm following you correctly, they're saying this combination of ingredients can help stop those termite cells, soothe the pain, and actually help regenerate damaged nerves.
That's exactly the claim.
Wow.
And that's where we need to shift our focus to the actual research. And see what the evidence tells us.
That's right. We want to be informed.
Yes.
And remember, companies can sometimes be selective about the research they highlight.
Right.
So let's dig into those studies and see what they actually say.
Let's do it. So let's start with that study on gotu kola.
Okay.
The one that showed a 460% reduction in termite cells.
Right.
It's important to remember that this particular study was conducted on animals.
Oh.
Not humans.
So while it's promising,
right,
we can't necessarily assume those results would be the same in humans.
Exactly. Animal studies can be valuable, but they don't always translate directly to human biology.
Right.
And that's a theme with a lot of the research this site. Many of the studies on PEA, for instance, have been conducted on relatively small groups of people.
So small sample sizes.
Yeah.
Which means we need to be a little cautious about those findings.
Exactly. And another point to consider is that many of these studies focused on specific types of nerve pain, like diabetic neuropathy or pain caused by chemotherapy.
Right.
So while nerve armor might be effective for those conditions, we don't yet have enough evidence to say for sure whether it works for all types of nerve pain.
So it's not a magic bullet.
Right.
But it should potentially be a very valuable tool for certain individuals.
Definitely.
It definitely sounds like more research is needed.
I agree. More research is always a good thing.
Yeah.
But even with those caveats, I have to say some of this research is pretty exciting. The idea that we might be able to not just mask nerve pain, but actually address the underlying damage.
Yeah.
That's a huge potential shift in how we approach nerve pain.
Absolutely, especially when you consider the impact nerve pain can have on people's lives.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just the physical discomfort. It's the limitations it puts on your activities, how it affects your mood, even your relationships.
Yeah, you're hitting on a really important point. The Cleveland Clinic source you provided really drives this home. They talk about how nerve pain can lead to insomnia.
Oh, wow.
Making it difficult to get a good night's sleep.
Of course.
It can make simple tasks like buttoning a shirt or tying your shoes incredibly challenging, and it can contribute to anxiety and depression.
It's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
And pain leads to limitations, then to frustration and isolation.
Right.
It's a vicious cycle.
It really can be.
Yeah.
And breaking free from that cycle can feel impossible. Especially when traditional treatments, like over-the-counter pain relievers or even prescription medications, often come with a whole host of side effects.
Yes, I've heard some pretty unsettling stories about those side effects.
Yeah.
Weight gain, drowsiness, even addiction.
Right.
It's a tough call.
It is, and that's why this research on natural alternatives, like the ingredients in nerve armor, is so compelling. If we can find safe and effective ways to manage nerve pain without resorting to those heavy-hitting drugs, that would be an incredible breakthrough for so many people.
It would be a game changer, for sure.
Yeah.
It sounds like nerve armor could be a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, it could be.
But it's important to remember there are other options to explore as well.
Absolutely. The Cleveland Clinic article outlines some of these, including physical therapy, which can help improve strength and flexibility.
Right.
And nerve blocks. Which are injections that can provide temporary pain relief.
Interesting.
In some cases, surgery might even be an option.
So it's really about finding what works best for each individual.
Yeah.
There's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Exactly right. And that's why it's so crucial to talk to your doctor and get a proper diagnosis that can help you determine the underlying cause of your nerve pain.
Right.
And develop a personalized treatment plan that's tailored to your specific needs.
Great advice. So we've covered a lot about nerve armor.
We have.
The potential benefits, the research, and other treatment options.
Yeah.
If you're intrigued by what you're hearing and want to learn more, you can find a link to Nerve Armor's official website in the description below.
Absolutely.
They even offer a 60-day money-back guarantee.
Oh, wow.
So you can try it out and see if it works for you without any risk.
That's a good point. They seem confident in their product.
They do. But let's not lose sight of the bigger picture here.
Right.
We've been digging into the science.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's about quality of life.
Absolutely.
What would it mean for you to regain control over your nerve pain? What could you do? What could you enjoy if that pain wasn't holding you back?
Imagine being able to walk without that constant burning sensation.
Yeah.
To sleep soundly through the night without waking up in pain.
Right.
Think about all the things you could do again. Yeah. Gardening, dancing, playing with your grandkid.
Going for a hike without worrying about your legs giving out.
Yeah.
Or just sitting down to dinner with your family and being present without the pain being the main focus.
It's about reclaiming your life, your freedom, your joy.
Exactly. And if Nerve Armor can help people achieve that, well, that's pretty powerful.
It certainly is. But remember, it's just one tool in the toolbox.
Right.
There are many paths to pain relief.
Yeah.
And the best approach is the one that works for you.
So true. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
What would you say is the key takeaway for our listeners? What's the one thing you want them to leave this deep dive thinking about? For me, it's definitely these termite cells.
Yeah.
It's just a whole new way of thinking about nerve pain.
It is.
And while we need more research, the science behind Nerve Armor's approach seems promising.
Yeah, I think what stands out to me is that they're not just focusing on masking the pain. They're aiming for actual nerve regeneration.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, let's not just cover up the problem.
Right.
Let's fix it from the inside out.
Exactly. And that's a message that I think resonates with a lot of people dealing with chronic pain.
Yeah, they're tired of temporary fixes. They want something that gets to the root of the problem.
Absolutely.
And the way they connected it all back to quality of life, that was powerful.
Yeah.
It's not just about reducing the pain. It's about getting back to living your life to the fullest.
Right.
What would it be like to wake up without that nagging pain?
Yeah, to move freely,
Yeah.
Enjoy the things you love without limitations.
Think about being able to walk your dog, play with your kids,
Yeah.
or travel without that constant worry about pain flaring up.
Absolutely.
Those simple things like gardening or cooking could become enjoyable again.
Exactly.
It's about reclaiming those simple joys, those everyday moments that pain can steal from you.
It is.
And if Nerve Armor can help people do that, that's pretty incredible.
It really is.
If this sounds like something that could help you remember, you can find a link to Nerve Armor's official website in the description below. They even offer a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it out risk-free.
That's a good point.
And see if it works for you.
Definitely worth exploring, especially if you've tried other approaches that haven't provided lasting relief.
Yeah.
Remember, you deserve to live a life free from pain.
So true. Well, this has been an incredibly insightful deep dive.
It has.
I hope it's empowered you to take control of your nerve health journey. Keep asking questions, keep researching, and keep advocating for yourself.
Absolutely.
And who knows, maybe Nerve Armor could be a step on your path to a pain-free life.
It could be.
It's been a pleasure diving into this with you.
Likewise.
Until next time, keep exploring and keep diving deep.